got baby face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water make Gulf US obey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. Me got baby face, me got big cheer. Trump bad, Trump good, me no care. Me write big book, kill billies and stuff. Now me important, we're tired tough. Me go Yale school, me learn big word. Now me forget everything me heard. Silicon people give me job, me take. Now me like Trump, me make no mistake. Yo, it's JD Vance. Me fight walk folk, me say never die. Me protect kids, me born liberal. Him, them, there. America simple, only two gender. Me face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water make Gulf US obey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. So many gender for my agenda. Went on a bender, execo the sender. Might take Panama just like na. Might take Gaza, pop then a plaza. With this one majesty.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into Cobra Cast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage, eyed out of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here for round 2 on a Wednesday. Taco Wednesday in the house. Tacos in the chat. Tacos and super chats in the chat. This is how we celebrate around here. Taco Wednesday for Trump. Tacos out for Trump. That's how it works. Marmillan starting us out with $20. Pre-stream chat grift tax. May miss tomorrow's, so doubling it. You see, this is a man who's ahead of the curve. He's like, I might miss tomorrow, so I'm dropping double, because that's a true supporter right there. Thank you, Marmillan. I appreciate it. I also appreciate your reply to me on Twitter. I'll show that here in just a minute. Little Jim Taylor says, how to get out of jail, stand mentally incompetent. Yeah, I mean, if that works, then, you know, I'm in good shape. But we are going to talk about that. That is a big story that's going around, and it's going to disgust all of you. So that will happen here in a minute. Heir to the Empire becomes a new member. Thank you. I'm still stuffed up, so I'm working through it. Timothy Finch says it came out that Pakistan lied to both Trump and Iran about what the other party agreed to. That's why they both say they won, lying at mediators. I mean, I don't believe anyone in the Middle East tells the truth about anything. I wouldn't believe anything from any Middle Eastern country, period. John for 5 says, thanks for being cool at MegaCon. You should meet him before you judge him. Keep rocking the 199 and Geeks and Gamers. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It was awesome meeting so many people at Orlando MegaCon. And then we had our meetup. It was crazy, man. I'm just happy that everything happened and didn't fall off the rails. So, but there we go. Let's see. My God, man, virtual reality. I fucking know. I meant Israel. I meant every Middle Eastern country, bro. Like, why is that your first thought? Like, Israel's in the Middle East. Yeah, I don't trust Israel either, stupid fuck. Holy shit, man. These anti-Israel people are fucking retarded. Like, holy shit. My God. It's like saying, like, I don't trust the government. Ha ha ha. Trump's in the government. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I know. Good Lord, man. These people are fucking insane. Let's see. Shaky owns with a member re-up. Thank you. Fear the door greeter right there. Appreciate that. Fear the door greeter. Corey Wilson says, why is Benny Johnson spreading anti-Israel conspiracies from the New York Times? I saw like he was getting a lot of heat on Twitter, and Look, man, whatever. I saw like he basically covered this New York Times article. Was it New York Times? The failing New York Times. And I saw that he was getting a lot of people. Let me see. Hang on, what is this? Oh man, I'm busted. No, but there was a lot of people giving him some backlash over it, whatever. I checked out a little bit of the video. As a matter of fact, and that whole New York Times article, it's primarily focused on trying to put JD Vance over. It's essentially saying JD Vance controlling everything now. Well, JD Vance just called out the New York Times right here. JD Vance calls out American media outlets like the New York Times for publishing bullshit 10-point peace plans from Iran. Here's JD.
So let me just say, given that you guys are going to
Volume's a little low.
Let me just say a few things, actually. So, number one, I think it's very important for the American media to be honest with the American people on this particular issue, because it affects not just, the normal issues of public policy. It actually affects peace and war. And here's what I mean. So in the past couple of days, I've seen a lot of reporting from the American media about the 10-point proposal that the Iranians have made. Now, as I know, because I've been involved in this, there are 3 different 10-point proposals, at least, that I've seen floating around. The first 10-point proposal was something that was submitted, and we think, frankly, was probably written by ChatGPT, that was submitted to Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. That immediately went in the garbage and was rejected. There was a second 10-point proposal that was much more reasonable, that was based on some back and forth between us, between the Pakistanis and that is the 10-point proposal that the president was referencing in his truth yesterday. And then, frankly, I've seen a third 10-point proposal that's even more maximalist than the first 10-point proposal that's been floating around various social media channels. Now, here's what's interesting about all this, is that I've seen various organs, the New York Times, CNN, others, pick up and run the original 10-point proposal.
Can we talk about that JD is learning from Trump? Look at the optics of this. Like having the plane directly behind you. Like, this is good optics. JD is learning the optics game from 47.
Based on little more than a random Yahoo in Iran submitting it to public access television in the country of Iran, and then them saying that somehow represents the negotiating position of the government. It's the equivalent of somebody in, let's say, a Democratic councilman in Boise, Idaho, saying something crazy, the local public access TV picking up that crazy statement, and then the New York Times running that as the position of the President of the United States. It doesn't make an ounce of sense. What's happening on the ground in Iran is that you have clearly the position of the government, which is to negotiate with the United States of America. You have the position of the President of the United States, which is to send the negotiators to Pakistan and engage in this good faith negotiation. And then, yes, you have some crazy people at the fringes of the Iranian who are leaking anonymously, either for propaganda purposes or because they're embarrassed or because they don't like what happened. And the final point, when I say they don't like what happened, what we know is that the United States accomplished its military objectives. What we know is the United States could have imposed significant additional military and economic costs on Iran and still has the capacity to do so. But we thankfully, at this point, I think, have a ceasefire, thanks to the leadership of the President of the United States, the Iranians promising to open the Straits of Hormuz, and we have a negotiation that's supposed to start this weekend. That's the truth. I think it's a good first step. We're going to see if we can make more progress here in the days to come.
JD is so on point, okay? So on point. And this is what frustrates me about what's going on with so many of the mainstream talking heads. The mainstream talking heads that are pretending to be independent creators, because they're not. They are mainstream. They are mainstream funded. They are 100% mainstream funded. They are not independent at all. And they are trying to drive a wedge in between Vance and Trump right now. That's what they are doing. They're trying to drive a wedge in between them. They're trying to create animosity between these two guys because these two guys are working together so well. They're doing such a good job. And if we continue on in the direction we're in, this guy is going to be our next president of the United States. This guy right here is easily the next guy. He's got it all. He's got everything going for him. He's learning from the best as well. So right here, this, as long as they are not successful, and I don't believe they will be, but as long as they're not successful of tearing these guys apart and creating divide, that's your next president right there, in my humble opinion. And he's definitely on track and on point to be just that. So we shall see. Lapko says, if you think you're going to rage bait me into sending you money, you got another thing coming, buddy. Freaking grifters. Wait a second. Oh, crap. See there, Lapko? It's like pulling strings. So easy. Thank you, Lapko. I appreciate it, as always. Appreciate you, brother, and everyone else for being here. Thank you for being here. Smash the melee button. We have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to discuss, for sure. And it's been another fun day of watching people freak out and melt down. I did, before we get into some of it, I'll show you something that I responded to earlier. This is a Kotaku article, and I responded to the article. This is why I will continue to put as many of my resources as I can into geeksandgamers.com because of shit like this. This is one of the top gaming websites, which they are struggling these days. They are nowhere where they used to be, but this is the shit that they are continuing to post right here. Okay. What a garbage
company. And I responded to this, and they're getting absolutely destroyed in the comment section. And I commented, and I says, this is why I'll continue to put all my money into building geeksandgamers.com. Burn in hell, you freaks. And I stand by that. Burn in hell, you horrible, horrible pieces of garbage. This is who they are. This is who they are. So yeah, that's them right there. Freaking Pokemon Champions has an unexpected trans icon. Good Lord, man. These people are sick and disgusting. So that's why we will continue to do what we do. F them. Stormwolf says, after MAGA, it's time for Advanced America. Hell yes. Let's freaking go. All right, so let's get into some of the stuff right here. JD Vance or Jeremy Wee? Nah. What? Not even gonna get into that one. Okay, so off rip, let's go ahead and talk about a terrible story. This is an absolutely this is disturbing. It's gonna make you angry, and it should. It's gonna make every single normal person angry. The only people that are happy about this are Democrats. But this is a truly, truly disgusting story. You all know it, but here it is. DeCarlos Brown Jr., the man who murdered Iryna Zarutska, has been found incapable to proceed on state you-know-what charges. The case is now reportedly delayed until Brown's capacity is deemed restored. Yeah. You're angry. I'm angry. Everybody's angry. This is next level. I cannot believe that we are dealing with this right here. But here we are. Disgusting, to say the least.
We're learning DeCarlos Brown Jr., the felon charged with the murder of Iryna Zarutska on a North Carolina light rail, has been found incapable to proceed with trial. The decision comes after a mental health evaluation. So DeCarlos Brown has a string of prior charges dating back more than a decade, including a felony, larceny, and robbery with a dangerous weapon. Brown's lawyers are now asking the court to push back a scheduled April 30th hearing for another 6 months. It's pretty unbelievable. How many times can this man continue to commit crimes and be judged incapable of being accountable for his crimes? It's not just larceny. It's not just robbery. Now it's cold-blooded murder. We're learning.
I mean, it's the most disgusting thing ever. It really is. And you know, I think that this puts it into perspective right here. Let me find it. Yeah, right here. Tectone said it. Doesn't need a trial. Not at all. We know exactly what this piece of shit needs. Can you believe this? This is absolutely unbelievable. And you know what? There's people out there that are going to defend this piece of shit. There's people that are going to defend this piece of garbage. The system is weak. Absolutely, Linko. Absolutely. Ugh. Pisses me off beyond belief. I'm going to end up saying certain words if I keep going. So I'm just going to have to move on from that. But yeah, man, this really burns me up to hear this news. This drives me crazy. And what are you going to do, though? What are you going to do? Okay, so I will just repeat what I initially said. And I mean this in no disrespect towards this Iryna girl at all, because it's not meant to have anything towards disrespect to her. I'll simply just say that if she was racist, she'd probably be alive today. And that's just the sad reality of it. If she was racist, she'd probably be alive. You know it, and I know it. And, you know, so sad, so awful. This young lady should be alive right now, out having fun, enjoying life. But she had the unfortunate crime of being white. And because she was white, she's dead. And no cities were burned to the ground. There were no protests in the streets. No video game companies made you press a button that said White Lives Matter. No Hollywood studios had a movement behind White Lives Matter. No sports teams kneeled down and said, you know, rest in peace to this young white girl that was murdered by a black person. None of it. It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing how none of that happened. But the moment that a career criminal dies because he overdosed on fentanyl, suddenly the entire world has to stop, and we need to build statues and all that other shit. Anyway, we're just going to leave it at that for right now. Let me catch up on some of these super chats. Rest in peace to Iryna Zarutska, though. 100%. Packet Protons. I got that one. Kate says bourgeoisie member of the Duck Pit 199 reporting from the Marxist utopia of VA. Keep an eye on VA's 4/21/26 election. I think I said that correctly. I don't know. Maybe I did. I was either going to say bourgeoisie, which I think I've heard before, or I was going to say borghese. Borghese-ozy. So either way, one of those is the right way to say it, okay? It's either bourgeoisie or borghese-ozy. So like seriously, borghese-ozy is not too bad, all right? Let's see here. Bear Paw for 20 says, sounds like Jones and whoever else, I don't know, Aaliyah, are trying to use JD's appearance to discredit Trump's rhetoric. Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly I think they're trying to discredit Trump, ultimately. They're trying... In my opinion, what is happening right now is there is an effort to discredit Donald Trump and position JD Vance. And again, there's no reason to do that. It's going to happen naturally. Like everything that we're seeing right now is JD Vance is in a perfect position to carry on MAGA right now.
We don't need any gay ops. We don't need any of this shit to change that right now. It's simply the natural progression, and JD is doing a fantastic job. We don't need people to, sit here and push this narrative that JD is upping Trump in private meetings and all of that. We just don't, man. To me, a lot of these guys, their entire careers have been made during the Trump run. Okay. They know where the meal ticket is, but they also know in a couple of years, Trump is gone, and they got to build up something else or someone else in order to be that next guy. That's going to have to happen naturally, not by some ops movement. All right. So I don't like it at all, but we are where we are. Hopefully the administration sees right through that shit. So we have this right here. So apparently Scott Jennings reacted to Alex Jones and Robert Barnes. Here's Scott Jennings right here reacting to this clip.
So what do we do? Tackle Trump and let him pretend he's president and publicly report that he's going through a health issue and Vance take over.
And so the turnaround here is really stark, Scott.
Well, look, they're isolationists, and he's not. He never has been. There's been a lot of people in that wing of our politics that wanted to ascribe or attach their views to him. He just never has been. He wasn't in his first term. He hasn't been in his second term. He's been a hawk on Iran his entire adult life. And I see some of these people now saying, gee whiz, we had no idea Donald Trump hated Iran and thought they shouldn't have a nuclear weapon. I mean, take the car key out of your ear, for goodness sakes. Like, this has literally been his position since he was like 30 years old when the regime took over. So I don't know what they've been listening to until now, other than this. Yep. They wanted always to try to get him to bend to their will. And what they don't understand about Trump is that people bend to his. He's the head of the party and he runs the country, not the podcaster.
Accepts him, which shows that there is uncertainty right now in the core of his base. The people who actually feed on the media diet of Tucker Carlson and maybe some Alex Jones, like these are the people that and
let me just ask you a question. Mm-hmm. Are you suggesting that the elected president of the United States should run American foreign policy and national security based on the daily podcast rantings of Alex Jones?
He already runs it based on Fox News.
That's crazy.
Everything he reads.
He has to run it based on the circumstances. The circumstances are, I'm not going to let these fanatics get a nuclear weapon.
Listen to the American people. Only one in four Americans actually supports this war. 1 in 4 Republicans actually supports this war.
That's false. Republicans.
So
support
just to note,
Republicans support the president.
Like I see CNN, I saw these clips on CNN going, Tucker Carlson's not very big. Alex Jones isn't very big. And I can go look at the numbers. We're way bigger than them. I don't even care about that. But they're literally on all these TV shows with Democrat and Republican strategists. I saw like 5 clips this morning without even looking saying, oh, they're not important. The fact that they went after Trump, and this is CNN defending him, and the fact that Trump, is backing off, he shouldn't listen to them as they have no power. And then CNN has like 70,000 viewers on average. It's a joke. So they're talking about how big they are.
Wizardry. That's wizardry. It's gaslight. It's gaslight, diagnose, ignore. I talk about this in the book. It's like, so they just lie. And then when you respond like you just did, where you're like, look at the numbers. And I like Tucker Carlson now, too. I think he's crushing. I mean, he brought up spellcraft recently. And so,
of course you do. By the way, someone in the chat was saying, when is the U.S. going to see that Israel is lying to them? What did you say? You brought up Israel? Israel's lying? Wait, hang on. What, really? Hang on.
Wow. I didn't know that. I just, you're telling me now for the first time.
This is the first time I've heard people have a problem with Israel? Are you kidding me? There's no way. That's the first time I've heard this. You, sir, should start a podcast. You may get a lot of views because this is breaking news. You are the first person on the internet
that has brought this up. I am blown away by this. I can't believe this. Start a podcast right now and talk about Israel's influence on America and how they're responsible for everything. I bet you'd get a lot of views. I bet you would get a lot of views. Just saying.
Well, he's definitely listening to you. That's what I'm saying. Tucker, because I watch his numbers and I know I talk to his people, what they are about other stuff. He's crushing subscriptions, crushing on every platform. He's at least 10 times bigger than he was on Fox. I mean,
so they're just trying to get you to believe them. That it's perception management.
They have all these articles that don't have an audience and I'm off the air. When InfoWars shuts down, we're going to be gone. We're going to be bigger. They want me to believe their spell.
That's it, man. They need you to believe the spell. Because in the past, I've believed the spells before where I'm like, am I full of hate? Like,
that's Owen Benjamin for people are asking. That's Owen Benjamin and Alex Jones.
I can be so open-minded sometimes that a wizard will say something to me and I'll think about it. Like, and then if I start changing that way, or if I'm like, because for me, my issue was like I would feel threatened when I wasn't really threatened, and then I could almost come across as more antagonistic, more volatile.
Yeah,
because
you used to be more reactive in explaining yourself.
Yeah.
I think your shows are better when I've seen them now because you don't do that. Me too.
Okay, I really can't listen to these two anymore. But we do have Megyn Kelly. That's right, Megyn Kelly. So right here, we got Megyn Kelly, who I covered earlier. Let's hear what Megyn Kelly has to say now.
President Trump, for his part, sounding thrilled and ready to do business with Iran. Here he is shortly after midnight on Truth Social. Quote, a big day for world peace. Iran wants it to happen. They've had enough. Likewise, so is everyone else. The United States of America will be helping with the traffic buildup in the Strait of Hormuz. There will be lots of positive action. Big money will be made. Iran can start the reconstruction process. We'll be loading up with supplies of all kinds and just hanging around in order to make sure that everything goes well. I feel confident that it will. Just like we are experiencing in the U.S., this could be the golden age of the Middle East, unquote. Okay, I'm sorry, but like I know that this is what President Trump does. He tries to put the most positive spin on very unfortunate situations, and that is what he's clearly doing.
Wait a minute. You're telling me a president puts positive spins on every situation that he's involved in? Stop the presses. We have never had a president put a positive spin on any situation they've been in until Donald Trump took office. This is the first time in American history that a president has put a positive spin. Holy shit.
Very unfortunate situations, and that is what he's clearly doing here. It's as if we didn't bomb them to smithereens. It's as if we didn't start a war and bomb Iran for the past 38 days. And that cannot be undone with a sunny tweet or Truth Social, because already things are going south on this ceasefire.
So that's Megyn, and then we have her on with Piers Morgan crying about Israel.
And what Trump did with that 10-point plan was go from Monday saying, no, not good, to Tuesday saying, very workable, we can do it, as a means of saving face to bail off of his insane threats about annihilating an entire civilization. So I don't know how we got here, Piers. I'd like to know just as much as anybody else, but all I can think in my head, based on what I've read in the paper, is we got here thanks to Bibi Netanyahu, Lindsey Graham, and Mark Levin. And ultimately, President Trump. That's not to take agency away from the president, who was bamboozled.
Agency is a leftist word, by the way. Like, such a fucking leftist word. Agency. Not to take agency away. Agency. Get the fuck out of here with that fucking word.
I don't know why. He was too weak to say no. He was too gullible to see through the lies. One way or another, he allowed himself to be pushed into this insane conflict. So we've upset our allies. We've pleased Israel, although now they're upset there's a ceasefire. We've upset.
Again, if Israel's controlling everything and Trump is doing everything Israel wants, then why is Israel mad because there's a ceasefire if we're doing everything that they want us to do? If they are controlling everything that we do, then why are they angry that there's a ceasefire if they are in control? None of this makes any fucking sense. Jesus Christ.
We've pleased Israel, although now they're upset that there's a ceasefire. We've upset the American base. The Trump coalition that got him elected is completely fractured and in smithereens. And he doesn't care, Piers, because he doesn't care about the Republican Party. He cares about himself. If Trump had to get reelected, he probably would have handled this a little differently. But he doesn't care.
What did Trump do in his first term to get reelected? He was still Trump. Like leading all the way. You dumb bitch. You sat there on Fox News when he was trying to get elected and you tried to get him in a gotcha question about his treatment of women and he roasted you. Any other politician in that scenario would have cucked and apologized, and he took that opportunity and roasted you and didn't apologize for shit. And now you're going to say if Trump was in the position to be elected, he would act differently. Get the fuck out of here.
That the Republicans are going to lose the midterms. I think he thought that was a foregone conclusion. And I don't think he cares that JD Vance or Marco Rubio wins the presidency next time around. I think there's a piece of Trump that would like to say, I'm the only one who could do it. The Republican Party's nothing without me. And the rest of us are going to be around to pick up the pieces.
So
what
going on Megyn Kelly's logic, Trump only cares about Trump. You know what's good for Trump right now? To win the midterms. There is literally nothing that is better for Trump than to win the midterms. There is no single human being on this planet who has more riding on them than the fucking midterms. If Trump loses, if we lose, if the conservatives, if the Republicans, if the MAGA loses the midterms, Trump is literally fucked. Not only Trump, his family, his legacy, every fucking thing that he has accomplished is fucked. Everything. And she's going to act like he doesn't have anything to lose right now. He has everything to lose in the midterms. Everything. 1,000%. And yes, that also applies to the rest of us. We're all fucked. If the Democrats win the midterms, we are all fucked. 100%. I like this clip right here. Donald Trump versus Tucker Carlson on Iran having a nuclear weapon. This is really funny.
Iran must not have a nuclear bomb. That's what he said publicly.
I think a better way to say it.
We can't let Iran get a nuclear weapon.
Is
Sure that Iran
we don't
never,
want
and I mean
Iran to
never
have a bomb.
acquires a
The
nuclear
future
weapon.
is a
Iran will
series of
never have
hopes and unknowns
a nuclear weapon. That Iran
over which
must
we have
never
very
be allowed
limited
to
control.
possess a nuclear weapon.
And it's
That
important to
Iran
say
must
that
never
out
be allowed
loud.
to
I am not
obtain
God.
under
I can do
any
my best, and that's all I can
a
do. I
nuclear
cannot
weapon.
determine
Iran
the
will
future
never
of
have a
events.
nuclear weapon.
I don't know what my
We can't
title
let
is. I don't know
Iran
what my
have
army
a
is.
nuclear weapon.
The future
You
is a
cannot
series of hopes and
Iran
unknowns.
have a nuclear
Period.
weapon. Iran, we would
Trump just being point. Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Iran will, and then here's Tucker like, we don't want Iran to have the bomb. The future is a series of hopes and unknowns over which we have very limited control. And it's important to say that out loud. What?
And
They can't
the way
have a
that
nuclear
leaders
weapon.
get
They
in
cannot have a
trouble is
nuclear
by
weapon.
imagining
Nuclear
that
weapons.
their
You can't get
desires
nuclear weapons. You can't let
are the
Iran have
same as
nuclear
commands.
weapons. Iran
I want you to
cannot
do
have
this is
a nuclear
valid
weapon.
thing to say.
Iran
I will do
can't have a
everything
nuclear
in
weapon.
my power
Don't let
to make you
Iran
do this. Fine.
have nuclear weapons.
I am
They
going
can't
to
have a nuclear weapon.
control what you do.
They can't
It's
have
impossible.
a nuclear weapon. Iran
So the
can't
bottom
have a
line is we
nuclear
don't
weapon
have the
because
power
Iran can't
to
have a
determine. I wish
Tucker is still talking. Tucker is still giving his reason why Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. He's still monologuing.
we did. We
can't
don't.
have a nuclear
No
weapon.
country
It's
does.
very simple.
We do
They
not
can't
have
have
the
a
power
nuclear
to
weapon.
determine
Cannot
whether or
let
not
Iran have a
Iran
nuclear
has the
weapon.
bomb.
Iran
That's
can't have a
beyond our
nuclear
power.
weapon. It's very
All
simple.
I'm
but they
saying
can't
is
have a nuclear weapon. They
any
can't have a nuclear weapon.
wise
They can't
course
have
of
a nuclear
action
weapon.
begins with a sober and
Iran
honest
cannot have a
assessment of
nuclear
your
weapon.
own power.
You
What
can't
am I
have a
capable of? How much power do I actually have? When you lie to yourself,
Yeah, this is the thing about, like, remember in the remember in the 2016 primaries, whenever they were having the debates, and you got, well, I could show you, actually, not that one specifically, but this kind of puts it in perspective. Like, Trump understands how important it is to speak to the people, you know, not at the people. Speak directly to people, not at them, okay? And this, where Jimmy Kimmel was trying to roast, when Jimmy Kimmel tried to roast Trump, he ended up making Trump look good, because this is why people love Donald Trump.
Laden, and we were right. It was.
The United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden.
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead.
The United States launched a targeted operation against that compound.
They did a lot of shooting, and they did a lot of blasting, even not going through the front door. You know, you think you get through the door. If you're a normal person, you say, knock, knock, may I come in?
After a firefight, they killed Osama bin Laden and took custody of his body.
He died like a dog.
But his death does not mark the end of our effort.
A beautiful dog. A talented dog.
We give thanks for the men who carried out this operation.
And I don't get any credit for this, but that's okay. I never do. But here we are.
May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.
And I'm writing a book. And I wrote 12 books. All did very well.
But, like, so back to during the 2016 primaries, whenever they would ask a question, every politician on that stage would do what Tucker is doing right there. Okay. And then you had Trump. And Trump just gets through all the BS and just says it like it is. All right. And to counter that even more, you had Ben Carson. All right. Whenever Ben Carson would answer, everybody was like, that guy sounds really smart. I don't know what he's talking about, but he sounds really smart. You know, but like, you're like, I don't know what you're saying, bro. Like, you're talking completely over me. We can't even grasp the shit that you're saying right now. And he was kind of boring when he would talk. So you're like, Ben Carson just says all these huge words. And you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah. And then, like, you got Trump being bombastic as hell. So yeah, this Tucker thing reminded me of that. Also, like, right here, because people are simple. They really are. So this scene right here, which I've played 100 times, but this right here is kind of like whenever people heard Ben Carson talk, this is essentially how we would look at it. Okay, right here. Whenever Ben Carson talks, this is how we would react.
Okay, well, check this out. First of all, you throwing too many big words at me. Okay, now, because I don't understand them, I'm going to take them as disrespect. Watch your mouth and help me with the sale.
Okay, see, now you found yourself a nigga. You were looking for a nigga? Nigga here now, see?
Okay.
Today's forecast, dark and cloudy, and chance of drive-by.
You want to
It's one of my favorite movies, bro. It's one of my favorite movies. So let's let Tucker finish his dumb monologue while Trump is getting right to the point.
about how much power you actually have, you get into very serious trouble. That's called hubris, and it's the downfall of every empire. It's the destruction of every great man. That's why you sleep with your assistant. Like, I deserve this. Don't want to find out.
Trump said,
I mean, right? Are you tracking with me here?
Yeah.
Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. It's, pretty simple.
Pretty simple, and that's President Trump, and that's why You know, people respect President Trump because he's been consistent. In fact, I've played this a few times, but I think it's important to continue to play this so that people fully understand, because there's so many lies out there. There's so much bullshit out there. And the reality of it is apply common sense to everything and you will ultimately figure it out. Okay. I think I talked about this, you know, back in the day. You know, when I was younger and I'm working on my car and my dad was like, you know, because I'm like, oh, it must be the engine or the transmission. And my dad's like, son, don't jump to the most complicated problem. Start out small, work your way up, and eventually you will probably find that the issue is much more simple. And that was really good advice. Don't jump in the deep end. When you have a problem, start out small. Look at the fuses. It's usually a fucking fuse. Almost always a fucking fuse when it's something. It's usually that simple. Start out small and work your way up. Don't get overly complicated. All right. Now, with Trump, you're having a lot of people lie over and over and over about what's going on. But ultimately, the truth is, this has been President Trump since 1980. Now, if you apply common sense to this, if we're to believe that Israel tricked Donald Trump into fighting their war, somebody needs to explain to me why Donald Trump has been talking consistently about Iran since 1980. Or maybe Israel was behind this since 1980. Maybe they've been plotting and poisoning Trump's mind since 1980 to get to this point right here.
That this country sits back and allows a country such as Iran to hold our hostages, to my way of thinking, is a horror.
Obviously, you're advocating that we should have gone in there with troops, etc., and got our boys out.
I absolutely feel that, yes. I don't think there's any question, and there's no question in my mind. I think right now would be an oil-rich nation, and I believe that we should have done it, and I'm very disappointed that we didn't do it.
Why couldn't we go in and take over some of their oil, which is along the sea? You're going to have a war by being weak. The next time Iran attacks this country, go in and grab one of their big oil installations, and I mean grab it and keep it, and get back your losses, because this country has lost plenty because of Iran.
Nearly 40 years ago, Trump saying, I'd be harsh on Iran. They've been beating us psychologically, making us look like a bunch of fools. One bullet shot at one of our men or ships, and I'd do a number on Karg Island. I'd go in and take it. Iran can't even beat Iraq, yet they push the United States around. It'd be good for the world to take them on.
So Iran can be taken. I would never take the military card off the table. And it's possible that it'll have to be used because Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. Nobody will be pushing us around. I will stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons. We will totally dismantle Iran's global terror network. Iran has already, since the deal is in place, test-fired ballistic missiles 3 times. And someday, maybe hit even the United States. And we're not going to let that happen. We're not letting it happen. Today, I am announcing several major steps we are taking to confront the Iranian regime's hostile actions. The longer we ignore a threat, the worse that threat becomes. The Iranian regime's aggression in the region, including the use of proxy fighters to destabilize its neighbors, must end, and it must end now.
Why are none of the podcast bros and the mainstream talking heads talking about this? Why aren't they using this footage to show that Trump has been talking about this since 1980? Can you maybe figure out why they're not showing this? Maybe wondering why they're not talking about this? It's pretty interesting, isn't it? How none of them want to talk about this information.
And I am ready and prepared to take whatever action is necessary. I was rough on Iran, and they supposedly have a hit on me. And Biden, if he were a real president, should say, if anybody shoots a former president who's now the leading candidate, we will bomb that country into oblivion. If I were the president, I would inform the threatening country, in this case Iran, that if you do anything to harm this person, we are going to blow your largest cities and the country itself to smithereens. We're going to blow it to smithereens. You can't do that. A short time ago, the U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime.
Would you consider bombing the country
Sure.
again?
Without question, absolutely. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. Iran cannot have nuclear weapons. I will stop Iran from getting nuclear weapons. Sure that Iran never, and I mean never, acquires a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again. They can never have a nuclear weapon.
No, I don't see a war. You see, the war is this is not a Vietnam situation. That would have been the easiest victory we would have ever won.
I mean, for them, it's a war. For us, it's turned out to be easier than we thought.
There it is. So for people asking where the video is from, it is from this account right here over on Twitter. He puts a lot of montages together and things like that. So if you're looking for it, you can find it there, or mods can probably share it if they can find it. You can get it over there. But yeah, man, I mean, most people aren't going to talk about that because it does not fit the narrative. But the truth is this is who Donald Trump is. He's been very consistent about this. And if that's, if you have been watching somebody that's been constantly talking about all this, suddenly they don't want to talk about this particular topic, though. Maybe they've been lying to you. Whiskey Niner says, Israel. Have you heard about Israel tax? I have never heard of Israel until today. This is the first time. In fact, I just found out that Israel was like in the Middle East today. Like I thought they were like San Francisco or something. I just like completely, like I had no idea that Israel was in the Middle East. Were you guys aware of this? I was not aware of this at all. So first time, I thought it was like, I thought it was over on the West Coast somewhere, but geopolitics, not really my thing. Marmillan says, oh, look, 2 whining, crying women on screen. That was a bit earlier. That was when Piers and Megyn Kelly were on, I think, Marmillan, I think. Mr. Von Think says, I was right. Even after half a day of markets knowing the Strait is closed again, the oil markers didn't even go back up half of what it was. Trump relieved the pressure, buying time, restock, and reloaded. Yep. There you goes, Marmillan. Thank you, man. Maximus America says, Teddy Roosevelt had an expression about the man in the arena, about the ones who have responsibilities and have to make hard decisions. Everyone else can shut the F up. Agreed. Miniature Von Think says, there's a New York Times article people are using as proof that Israel tricked Trump into Iran. The problem is it's based on the idea that New York Times had access to the Situation Room during classified CIA Mossad war briefings. Yes, that's been going around and people are running with it. Suddenly everybody believes the New York Times now. Isn't that interesting? Nick Hammerschmidt for 10 says, just wanted to shout out all of the people who show up regularly looking for answers and not losing their minds on the day-to-day. The Panicans will never cease to shock me how uninformed they are. 100%, man. I appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody hanging out here, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Ultimately, I appreciate everybody hanging out. Mod Eric says, give Carlos to me. I have a wood chipper. Slain Hope says, G&G is one of the few independent outlets left online. The rest have been bought and sold for chump change. It was always about killing competition. Yeah, we truly are. Without the people, we are nothing. So, that's a good feeling right there. Jazz says, drops into chat from a scorched pod and gives a super earth salute for the fight, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. Slain Hope says, your tax dollars are waste tax. Eric K says, not to worry. They are getting rid of all of her murals. They want to erase her from history, talking about Iryna. Aaron Adams says, I don't think JD is the guy. Sorry. I absolutely think JD's the guy. I mean, obviously, we've still got a little ways to go, but I mean, there's nobody else right now, based on where we are, that has everything lined up for him. So yeah, Net Stealer, whatever it was, Borghese. Thank you. Net Stealer says, "What the f? Did you kick Ryan off his Wednesday stream?" No. Why? Is Ryan not live? Twisted Clown says, "Is real lies tax? Is real lies tax?" Christian Rocker says, "Do anti-Israel people just stream surf to wine?" Yes. Oh my God, yes. Again, this is how I ended up finding out about them, because me, somebody who's never mentioned Israel, never talked about them in a positive or a negative light whatsoever, the anti-Israel crowd started coming into my streams and accusing me of being a Mossad agent. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? Why are you bringing this up? And the more I would meme on them, the more angry they would get. And then the more angry they would get, the more I would look into all of this and start doing some research on them. Like, oh, I know who you watch. Oh, I know where you're getting your information. Oh, you're not very smart, are you? No, you're very stupid. And so the more you learn about them, the more you realize these are the stupidest motherfuckers on the internet. Solo Felix says, "Salty calls her Megan, see you next Tuesday, Kelly." Act Natural says, "Megan Kelly and others like her is a shark hiding in the waves of MAGA, and now she's being activated to sabotage MAGA." That is apparently right. Nick Hammersmith says, "The script that these panic and outlets read is more chaotic than the Super Mario Galaxy movie. At least the movie was enjoyable." Hammer of Subtlety says, "I think Iran is using the ceasefire to stall and regroup. I just can't trust them to negotiate in good faith." I mean, I agree with that. I mean, look, this is my criticism of Trump and this entire situation, is that getting involved in the Middle East in any way, shape, or form, and truly believing that Israel is our, greatest ally, I think is a huge mistake. I absolutely think that's a huge mistake. I think that the Middle East is a complete and total cancer across the board. I don't think that it's almost like Washington, where even when you try to fix it, you can't fix something that's been fucked up for this long overnight or in a few years. You just can't do that. It's just not possible. And so being involved in this conflict, I don't know what there is for us to win overall. But I also acknowledge that Donald Trump is a once in a lifetime, personality. He's a once in a lifetime leader. He's a once in a lifetime president. And I don't know what his goal is. I don't know what his long-term goal is, but it does seem like, that there is a struggle here to kind of get clarity as to what's going on. I also understand that he is going to be very guarded in what his goals are, which he should be, rightfully so. But it's a tough situation that I don't like at all. I wish we were not involved in it. I wish we were more focused on other things, but I acknowledge that maybe Trump is working on things that I don't understand, and certainly the podcast bros don't understand. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I don't like it. Slain Hope says, "Welcome to the planet, Israel. IDS is a drug like TDS." Yes, it is. Mar Millen for 10 says, "Japan is the only ally we should fully support. The love affair on Twitter is proof." There you have it. Well, I mean, Japan's awesome. They gave us Nintendo, and so we have to be thankful for that, right? Let me see. Of course you don't understand. Of course you don't understand. No, I don't. I don't understand anything. But I understand that you're watching. And that means that I win. I fucking win. Just like Jack Sparrow. "You are perhaps the worst pirate." And I'm like, but at least you've heard of me. And that ultimately is all that matters. Methless says, "Speaking of Israel, and have you heard of Tom?" No, I have not. PDF file, arrested in Nevada, got out on bail and ran it to Israel. As far as I'm aware, he is walking free in Israel. I do not know who that is at all. Maybe he's hanging out with Tom Hanks over in where did Tom Hanks go? We can tell Jeremy is uneducated. What gave it away? What gave it away? Zachary says Megyn Kelly is like Ben now. She lost her second chance just like he did. Never will trust her again. Grease, that's it. It was Grease. Yeah, there we go. I forgot the joke on that one. Let's see. Gerald Armstrong says, Benny Johnson did a video and a tweet about Netflix Yahoo meeting and Trump team calling him full of shit, and MAGA Twitter is shitting on him. Yeah, it is. I saw the tweet and I saw a little bit of the video, and he is catching hell right now. Yeah, man. I guess enjoy that one. So, Kevin Spears says Trump, greatest president since George Washington. Little Jim's Halo says, is Israel real? Never heard of Israel. Kevin Spears says, so happy to live in Trump's timeline. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? Okay, we got more to talk about, and then I'll catch up on the rest. So right here, let me pull this up. Right. What is that? Okay. Oh, man, my bookmarks are all screwed up all of a sudden. Come on, bookmarks on Twitter. You got to work a little bit better. A little bit better. Looks like Alex Jones is going to have Marjorie Taylor Greene on to do an interview. I wonder what that's going to be centered around. I can't imagine what they'll talk about. Okay, what is this right here? The only thing consistent about Tucker Carlson is his inconsistencies. Okay.
The president's clearly mocking the religion of Iran. I mean, he's clearly doing that. And you shouldn't mock people's religion, period.
Right. Tucker, what are your thoughts on Christian Zionists?
They're some of the worst people. They're awful.
And what about Chabad Lubavitch?
They're clearly in a cult practicing witchcraft. I mean, clearly they're practicing witchcraft. They're trying to take over Al-Aqsa and the world, and they're getting us into war with Iran. And so,
what about Nick Fuentes praising Hitler and Stalin?
It's free speech.
What about Donald Trump? His free speech. So mocking religion is wrong.
Of course, yes.
What about mocking a grieving widow, like Erica Kirk? Thoughts on that?
I love Erica.
And what about Candace Owens, who's been mocking her?
Love Candace. I really do.
Tucker, why don't you tell us what you really think?
Praise be to Allah.
There.
Oh, man, it's so fucking funny to watch this all play out. It really is. Holy crap. Okay, so Michael Knowles, who is one of the few people at the Daily Wire that I actually like. I have not heard this, but he says Trump haters wrong again. Iran ceasefire explained. So let's listen to what Michael Knowles has to say here in the beginning.
For 3 days, the entire left, joined by the neurotic right, whined and cried and rent their garments over the prospect that on Tuesday evening, last night, President Trump would detonate a nuclear weapon and then perpetrate a genocide in Iran. The hysteria was based on President Trump's tweet on Easter Sunday telling Iran to, I'm paraphrasing, open the effing strait or they would all be living in hell after he wiped out their civilization. Praise be to Allah. Now, some of us, a small number of us actually, on the right, we're not particularly worried. Sorry, I should rephrase it. I think people on the right generally are normal. Some of us in the media on the right, we were not particularly worried. Some of us actually thought the tweet was pretty funny. Just as some of us, well...
Oh, no, it was 100% funny. It was hilarious. And the only thing that was more hilarious than the tweet was the people that got offended over the tweet. That was the only thing that was funnier, was that. And it was so funny. It was amazing. And it was peak Trump Twitter, even though it was on Truth Social. Love you, Trump, but Truth Social is a stupid fucking name. It's a terrible name. And that's coming from the marketing genius of Donald Trump. And he decided to call it Truth Social. What a terrible name for a platform, Trump. What the hell are you doing? And you send out your truth? Oh, God.
Everyone freaked out about Iran turning into an endless war, a decade-long quagmire. some of us said to calm down. That President Trump said it would be over in about 5 weeks. Now, halfway through week 6, after decimating Iran's nuclear weapons, missile program, the entire military, we've got a ceasefire and at least an outline for long-term peace. Despite my profound distaste for saying I told you so, we will get into what that peace deal with Iran means, as well as...
He's about to have an ad read. X is a terrible name too. Yes. X is a terrible name. It's not as bad as Truth Social, and it's not as bad as Locals, but they're both really bad. But Twitter's just a great name.
And this is crucial, turning back to domestic matters, as well as the mass amnesty bill.
I feel like we're leading up
squish
to an ad
Republicans
read. I think we're
are trying to
heading to an ad
sneak
read.
through Congress while the rest of us were all distracted by Iran. I'm Michael Knowles. This is the Michael Knowles Show.
Well, let's just be clear. You work for the Daily Wire, so you don't need more money. You got all the money in the world, Michael. Okay? We know that. Okay?
Back to the show. New York Democrats,
no
talk
ad
about
read,
sneaking
okay?
through crazy legislation. New York Democrats are trying to punish Catholic nuns, Catholic religious sisters who care for
409, okay.
who are recorded with time and you with Just Thrive. Breaking news, President Trump did not detonate a nuclear weapon last night. Breaking, shocking, stop the press's news. Trump didn't commit a genocide last night, as the entire left was telling us, and as a ton of neurotic, hysterical people on the right were saying.
Who? Did he just give Gary a shout out? Did he just give Gary a shout out? I saw.
Oh my goodness! For the last 2-3 days, all these tweets, all these podcast episodes. Trump he's gone too far. This time. You hear that? I supported Trump. I voted for him 3 times. But this is too far.
Dude, this I voted for Trump 3 times nonsense has gotten so ridiculous. It is now reached the point of hilariousness where when you have these liberals that are always claiming like, yeah, my 1.5-year-old child came up to me last night and says, "Daddy, why is Donald Trump a racist?" And I said, "Because we live in a racist country, honey. And I am so sorry." And they're like, "But why does he hate brown people, Daddy? Why does he hate them?" And I have to explain to my 1.5-year-old why Donald Trump hates brown people. And we had a 35-minute intellectual discussion about this. And then we both cried. That is the "I'm a 3-time Trump voter" bullshit that we're getting.
He's going to do a genocide now. Oh my goodness, these people. How is it? It's been 10 years. It's been 10 years. And some of you people listening are normal, but some of these people, especially in the media, on the right as well as the left, they still don't get it. 10 years later, he's going to do a nuclear weapon. This is the end of the world. He's gone mad. For 2-3 days, these people, their blood pressure through the roof, their cortisol spiking. And then the rest of us, very few of us in the media, very few of us in the political class. I hate to say I told you so. Most people, I think, who are ordinary, normal, balanced people who have normal jobs, who don't.
But this is why I truly do believe that we are seeing a massive campaign against Trump from foreign entities paying influencers to do this. I truly believe that. And it's becoming more and more obvious every single day. And I want to bring this up really quick, that this kind of pushes that point home right here. I played this the other day, but this is Billy Bush reveals that ABC created a 75-person team in 2016 whose only job was to destroy Trump's career. Think about this. This is in 2016. Now, we know that the effort to destroy Trump was strong back then, but this is even when they believed Hillary would win in a landslide. ABC had a 75-person team.
Determination to find something.
Yeah.
Imagine going around asking that question. Who has something? Who has, like, there's evil in that.
ABC
even
News
if it's
had a
somebody that we
division.
don't like.
They had a division dedicated with 75 people in it, because I know the guy who ran the division, which was dedicated to basically getting him.
Wow.
And all the big network news did. I understand all of that. Like, what you can do with, they have a voice, and different networks have different voices.
That is insane. And if you think that has not, and it's just one network. This is in 2016, before Trump got elected. Now you think about Trump got elected. We've all seen the montage of the media freaking out when he got elected. We've all seen it. And then, of course, what happened in 2020, and we all witnessed how that played out. And then they thought that he would go away, and he didn't go away. So then they tried to arrest him. They've tried to kill him. They've tried to destroy everything. If you think that these numbers are not substantial now and massive across the board, and this guy just keeps winning, he keeps winning. It is truly one of the craziest, it's the craziest accomplishment I've ever seen. The fact that this dude continues to win despite the world being against him, the most powerful people in the world, and he keeps fucking winning. Andrew, for $100. Boss, these political commentators have the hero to heel vibe. It's interesting. What I love about your chat crew and channel is how you all spot the real hustle. You point it out, admire the skill, and call a good grift when you see one. Truth always floats in time. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And yeah, like even like somebody said something in a tweet today, and they were like, what's interesting is that Kada got dogpiled on Main Event for disliking the Mario movie the same way that Jeremy got dogpiled on FNT for liking the movie. And I'm like, but I thought we were in echo chamber. Now, I also think that, like, I was very much like, I wanted Kada to get as much talking time as he could, because I knew it was going to be a lot of people talking. And Kada did a great job. It was awesome. Shout out to Kada. And it was just a great discussion, but having people have honest discussions, that's what G&G is all about. That's what the 199 is all about. That's what the fellowship is all about. Real, honest discussions. Simple as that. And that's what it will continue to stand for. And again, now that we've got more people here, I just want to show this one more time because I showed it earlier. But like this right here just puts the point home, because this is what we're facing right here. Shit like this from Kotaku. This is the type of shit that they are reporting on. This is what we are trying to battle against. This is what a video game website is reporting on right here. Pokemon Champions has an unexpected trans icon. This is it. And my response was this. This is why I'll continue to put all my money into buildinggeeksgamers.com. Burn in hell, freaks. Go straight to hell where you belong. Because that's where they belong. Okay, let's get back to Michael Knowles really quick here.
Who don't work in politics professionally, who are on the right. But I think most people knew Trump wasn't going to do a genocide or set off a nuke. But in the media, oh my goodness gracious. For days, here we go. We have Sarah Jacobs, Democrat Congress lady.
Sexy Moon Goddess for 50 says, Jeremy, telling off all the dumbasses in the chat is glorious tax. It is fun to roast the trolls. And again, I practice what I preach. I'm not banning people. My comment section after every stream is full of motherfuckers hating me, and crushing me. I'm not banning you. I want you to say all of your shit, okay? I want you to say all of it. Well, Nintendo is finished. No, Nintendo didn't do that. It's them creating this character to become a trans icon. It's not like Nintendo is making the trans icon. And so, yeah, so again, I think people should absolutely be able to voice their opinions, no matter how retarded they are. Thank you, sexy moon goddess. Hail to you. Lapco says, Jeremy's so tight with Israel, he keeps it a bagel in the back of his pants. True story. Heard some bikers talking about it as if they were leaving a gas station bathroom. Wait a minute. Ew. What? Thank you, Lapco.
The president just threatened genocide. The Joint Chiefs of Staff must disregard any such military orders that violate federal and international law. Republicans in Congress can't hide anymore. We must consider all options, including impeachment, to stop Trump. Lady, would you like a cigarette?
These people are crazy.
Would you like a cocktail? Would you like to just take a deep... Get a hold of yourself, woman! What's the matter with you? It's not just a woman. Bernie Sanders, same thing.
Thank you, Red
It is
Walker.
very easy to become accustomed to Trump's ravings and laugh them off.
Bernie Sanders. Yeah, let's listen to Bernie the Cuck Sanders. Every time this man's name is mentioned, I will always bring up the fact that Bernie Sanders is the biggest fraud in political history. Bernie Sanders ran a campaign and he earned the trust of many young people. And he created an actual movement. And the moment that Hillary and the Democratic Party proved him right, he cucked for them. The moment that Hillary and the Democratic Party proved him right by stealing his nomination, instead of fighting like Trump did, Bernie Sanders cucked. That's exactly what he did. He cucked for all of them. When they did the same thing to Trump, Trump said, fuck you, I'm not leaving.
That's a dangerous thing to do. When Trump states a whole civilization will die tonight, he is threatening to commit genocide. We cannot allow that to happen. Congress must end this war now. 10 years later, and people are still befuddled. Now, the rejoinder to the observation that Trump obviously wasn't going to commit a genocide, wasn't going to set off a nuke. The rejoinder is, well, he threatened to wipe out a whole civilization. He threatened that they would be living in hell. So what? You can't trust what Trump says? That's what you're saying, Michael? Michael, you're saying that the lesson of this whole episode is that you can't trust what Trump says. Excuse me. You can trust what Trump says if you know what he means. You see, words have a tie to an objective reality, but they also mean different.
The so you're saying leftist meme. You all remember the so you're saying meme, right? So you're saying.
An observation that's the way it is. And
so you're saying
rely on.
Women have some sort of duty to sort of help fix the crisis of masculinity?
Which depends on what they want.
So
if you want
women
domination,
want to dominate, is that what you're saying?
No, I'd say women who have had their relationships impaired, their relationships with men impaired, and who are afraid of such relationships will settle for a weak partner because they can dominate them.
Do you think that's what a lot of women are doing?
I think there's a substantial minority of women who do that.
Right, so you're saying you've done your research and women are unhappy dominating men.
I didn't say they were unhappy dominating men. I said it was a bad long-term solution.
But you're saying basically it doesn't matter if women aren't getting to the top because that's what's skewing that gender pay gap, isn't it? You're saying, well, that's just a fact of life. Women aren't necessarily going to
So you're
No,
saying
I'm not saying it doesn't matter either.
You're saying
I'm
it's a
saying
fact
there are
of
multiple reasons for it.
So you were saying that by and large, women are too agreeable to get the pay rises they deserve.
No, I'm saying that that's one component of a multivariate equation.
This is 4 minutes of her. So you're saying
things depending on the circumstances in which they are said and depending on who is saying them, because different people have different credibility. Different people speak to different audiences. And the way that Trump speaks is, as a New Yorker, someone posted last night on social media, said, maybe it's just you got to be from New York to know what and I'll tell you what, it helps. For years now, when President Trump uses quotation marks to mean boldface, so he'll do that and say like, we're going to destroy you or whatever. But he really, a lot of people don't understand that. My grandmother used to write like that. New Yorkers of a certain age write like that. They think the quotations mean a joke. They mean mockery. They mean verbal irony. But actually, sometimes New Yorkers use it. So it's true. New Yorkers speak in a different way. Maybe that helps. But the other thing that we know about Trump is that he uses hyperbole for rhetorical purpose.
Yes.
In fact, he tells you that he does that in the book that he wrote about how he makes deals. The very famous best-selling book, decades-old book, he says, yeah, I use hyperbole for rhetorical purpose. The passage about his use of hyperbole is actually worth reading.
See, I mean, like, I use tons of sarcasm, which essentially in the same kind of way, like that's just how I respond, because I like to, like, if you accuse me of something, I want to help you with your own beliefs. So if you say I'm paid by Israel, I'm going to say, yeah, I don't care. I don't care what you fucking think. If you're stupid enough to come make that retarded accusation, me winning you over ain't going to help me. At that point in time, you have laid the foundation that I need to use you to entertain the people that are already watching me. That's what you've done. You have essentially come in here and said, hi, I'm a retard, and I want you to use my retardation to make more money in super chats. Okay, no problem. I appreciate it. You've set the parameters for how this is going to go, and I will gladly oblige. No problem. All right? That's essentially what you have done.
But you can trust what he says when you know what he means. I did that whole exegesis, as it were, of the Trump tweet about open the effing straits, you crazy bastards, or we're going to rain down hell on your civilization. Praise be to Allah, Donald J. Trump. I pointed out the tweet was not, as some said, reckless. It was a disciplined tweet. The proof that it was a disciplined treat, it was a treat too, on Easter Sunday, no less. The proof that it was disciplined was in that last line, that dry humor, praise be to Allah.
Sarcasm is funny. It is. The thing about sarcasm, though, on the internet is a lot of autistic people do not understand sarcasm. And so they get really fucking mad. Or they think you're serious. And then they take that and they run with it because they truly do not understand sarcasm.
The tweet was saying, open the strait. I want you to open the Strait of Hormuz, and we'll get to the now open strait, which Trump got us in the 6th week. But the tweet was mocking the diction of the Iranians, because the Iranians are the ones who are always saying, the great Satan will go down in a ball of flame and la la la. What? That's how the Iranians talk. And so Trump, who speaks in different ways, depending on the circumstance, sometimes he's a little more diplomatic, sometimes he's a little more blunt. But he did the Iranian thing. He said, we're going to rain down fire on you. You're going to be living in hell. You're all going to be gone. And he let you know that was what he was doing with that final ironic line. Praise be to Allah. Yeah, okay, maybe I got to talk your language, Iranians. Anyway, you can trust what he says if you know what he means.
The fact that he says praise be to Allah, it's got to be one of the greatest things ever, dude. Praise be to Allah. Oh, man, it's so good.
And the proof is you're going to hear from all these people, all these hysterics. You're going to say, no, you just got lucky. But he was really going to do it this time. I'm telling you, he was really going to do it. Okay, I think the proof is who freaked out over the Trump tweet and who didn't. The people who freaked out don't understand Trump, and therefore they don't understand the political moment.
Well, they're essentially they're showing you that they're very stupid people, because after 10 years plus of Donald Trump being the single most important human being on this earth, if you do not understand him after 10 years of him being consistent and the same, that's a you problem. And you are proving that you are a stupid person. If you are getting upset over Trump after 10 fucking years, that's a you problem. And you can't be helped.
And therefore, they might be entertaining. You might like them personally, but therefore you should not trust their opinions when it comes to political observation, because they got it spectacularly wrong. And those of us who didn't freak out, those of us who kind of chuckled along with it, those of us who were completely right in this very high stakes moment, maybe those of us who said and did those things, maybe we have a better grasp on what's going on in politics. I don't know. I would never say such a thing because I hate to say I told you so. The further proof, before we get to the Dignidad Act, before we get to what this means in Iran, the further proof that these guys just look completely foolish is that they've now flipped their criticism. 12 hours ago, they were criticizing Trump for bombing Iran.
Yes.
For potentially dropping a nuke on Iran.
Yes.
Immediately after he didn't do that, after he stopped the war.
He's a coward.
Actually stopped the war because we have a 2-week ceasefire. Immediately afterward, they criticized Trump for not nuking Iran.
Yes.
We'll get to that moment.
It is an amazing situation to watch this all play out. And it shows that they are not serious people at all. They are absolutely not serious in any way, shape, or form. Okay?
First, I want to tell you about Mizzen in Maine. Go to mizzenandmaine.com, promo code Michael20. Most dress shirts make you choose.
We respect the
ever
grift,
worrying about dry.
Okay? But
Mizzen and Maine.
You work for the Daily Wire. You got enough money.
Maine.com, promo code Michael20. If you'd rather shop in person, you can find Mizzen and Maine stores in select states. The biggest tell that these guys just don't know what they're talking about, mostly on the left, a little bit among the hysterics on the right. And here's a figure who fits both those camps. Bill Kristol. He's now on the left, but he is also an hysteric from the right. They immediately flipped from criticizing Trump for nuking Iran to criticizing Trump for not nuking Iran. Bill Kristol tweets out last night, the mother of all tacos, Taco Tuesday. What do they mean by taco? Taco is this acronym that cropped up on Wall Street, but has spread to the broader left and the Trump critical right, which is sometimes it's hard to distinguish between the two. TACO stands for Trump always chickens out. Now, the reason that this arose on Wall Street is because Wall Street got really freaked out last April because of the tariffs. When Trump said, I'm going to tariff the whole world at 10 billion%, and we're going to replace the income tax with tariff revenue, and this is going to completely reshape the economic order. And there were people on Wall Street who freaked out. Not most people didn't, which is why the markets have remained not only stable, but have hit record highs. But some people freaked out. And then what did Trump do? The tariffs weren't as bad as he was threatening. Trump will threaten a 100% tariff on a country, and then he'll bring it down to 38%.
Which is what he always does. This is a negotiation tactic from the greatest negotiator in the world. This is classic. He wrote a fucking book about it. This is what he does. And stupid people don't understand that.
Then maybe he'll bring it down to nothing. But then maybe that country does something he doesn't like. He threatens to bring it up to 15% again. And the upshot of it all is the tariffs were not nearly as bad as he threatened. So they said, okay, well, Trump always chickens out. And that's what they're now saying about Iran. Trump said he was going to nuke Iran and committed genocide of the Persian people, and then he didn't do it. What a chicken. Trump always chickens out. And whatever helps.
I know exactly what he's saying. Like, how are you going to call this like a chicken move? Like, that's something like when you're hanging out with your boys and he sees this hot chick and you're like, yo, go talk to her. He's like, I'm going to talk to her. And then he's like, he starts and then he's like, nah, I can't do it. Like, oh, you chickened out, pussy. This is talking about dropping a fucking nuclear bomb. And the left is like, ha, 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 you're too chicken. You're too chicken to drop a bomb and kill 90 million people. Loser. What?
you sleep at night, whatever helps you to try to make sense of the world. If you guys are so befuddled as Bill Kristol is, that's fine by me. But this is a completely unfair understanding of what Trump is doing here. Because Trump always chickens out. Taco implies, it assumes, I should say, that Trump actually wants the things he's claiming to want.
Correct.
But we know for a fact that Trump claims to want much more than he actually wants.
Yes.
One of the first guys 10 years ago to tune people into this fact was Scott Adams, who was one of the great readers of Trump.
R.I.P.
Scott Adams, who is an expert in persuasion tactics, really made his political career, after his Dilbert career, he made his political media career observing all of Trump's strategies of persuasion, one of which is that Trump always talks past the sale. Trump says he wants 300% tariffs on a country, and then he walks it back. He's conciliatory, and he makes a deal at 50%. But he really wanted 50% all the time. 300% is totally ridiculous.
Yes.
Trump writes about these things in his book, The Art of the Deal.
He literally tells you his playbook. He tells you what he does. He tells you how he does it. He then goes and literally does it. And these people freak out as if they have no understanding as to what he's doing. It is fucking madness.
So it's a totally unfair attack on him because it is assuming that he wants something that he is telling you he doesn't actually want. It's an incoherent criticism. We should call Taco, it should be tactical accentuation of critical objectives. How's that? Is that Trump accentuates critical objectives instead of Trump always chickens out?
Michael, that's no.
Accentuates I like tactical is better. Tactical accentuation of critical objectives.
No.
It's hyperbole.
No, Michael. We got to do it now. We got to do it, okay? We got to do it. Okay?
Because I don't understand him, I'm going to take him as disrespect. Watch your mouth and help me with the sale.
Okay? So let's just chill out, okay, Michael? Okay?
Accentuation of critical objectives. It's hyperbole to achieve an end. This isn't 5D chess, guys. You don't have to construct some esoteric theory of Trump to realize that salesmen ask for more than they want. That's not. I don't think I'm the crazy one for pointing out that great salesmen talk past the sale. That's like sales 101. That's what he's doing. And if it takes genius political philosophers like Bill Kristol to explain it as cowardice or something, okay, whatever. Regardless, Trump. We now have a 2-week ceasefire. The Strait of Hormuz is opening under certain conditions. The war hawks are really upset about this. Reportedly, the Israelis are kind of upset about this. Trump seems happy about it, but people are accusing him of cowardice. That's the whole point of the Taco attack. And I just want to point something out. I've thought about this since we hit the end of the 5th week on Iran. I was thinking about ways that Trump could fulfill his promise to scale this thing back after.
And as we know, like we do have, there's reports that the Strait of Hormuz is closed again. I'm not sure what to believe from that perspective. There's reports that the ceasefire has ended. I don't know what to believe because there is so many reports on social media from accounts that are straight up lying. You have Iran, which lies about every fucking thing. So it's impossible to know what the Middle East is going to tell you. I have no idea if I should believe Israel. So I don't know. So unless the White House says it, I'm not going to take it too seriously. And then that's the best method right now because there is just so much bullshit online right now that it's impossible to understand what is real and what is not. Is it real? Is it real? Don't know. But you know, I think we do have like what was it? There was one video right here. Okay. I want to show you this one. Jesse Waters says the U.S. military says we're not going anywhere. Bridge and power plant day is still on the table. Iran, show us you're not a terrorist or we strike again. So this is the latest right here.
Fox News alert, the president says it's a big day for world peace after the Iranians cried uncle. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth said they were on their knees.
President Trump had the power to cripple Iran's entire economy in minutes, but he chose mercy. He spared those targets because Iran accepted the ceasefire under overwhelming pressure. The new Iranian regime understood that a deal was far better than the fate that awaited them.
24 hours in, and real money likes what it sees. The Dow closed up 1,300 points. It's the best day of the year. Oil collapsed 12% back into the 90s. The Pentagon says we crushed them.
On February 28th,
Listen, I am not making fun of Ross Geller. I think he did a great job of moving on from Friends. And now he's a anchor at Fox News. I think he's done a good job.
President of the United States ordered the Joint Force to execute Operation Epic Fury with the direction to accomplish 3 distinct military objectives: destroy Iran's ballistic missile and drone capabilities, destroy the Iranian Navy, and destroy their defense industrial base to ensure that Iran cannot reconstitute the ability to project power outside their borders. Over the course of 38 days of major combat operation, the Joint Force achieved the military objectives as defined by the president.
Their drone, missile, and naval production plants wiped out. We struck 80% of Iran's air defense systems, almost 100% of their navy's gone, and we hit them in their Persian purses.
But I was told that we are losing. That's what I was told. I was told by very reliable podcasters that we are, in fact, losing. Tucker Carlson specifically said that the United States is not winning in Iran. That's what Tucker Carlson said. I believe it. What he said, I believe it.
Their steel plants and petrochemical factories are rubble. But are we actually finished? That's up to Iran. For now, we're keeping an eye on them.
We'll be hanging around. We're not going anywhere. We're going to make sure Iran complies with this ceasefire and then ultimately comes to the table and makes a deal. So we'll stay put, stay ready, stay vigilant. As the chairman laid out, our troops are prepared to defend, prepared to go on offense, prepared to restart at a moment's notice with whatever target package would be needed in order to ensure that Iran complies.
For the mullahs, this is an opportunity. Show the world that you're not a terrorist. Here's how it all went down. Axios says the gay Ayatollah woke up from his coma, heard about Bridge and Power Plant Day, and told...
Did Jesse Waters just say the gay Ayatollah? Bro, we are so fucking back. We are so back. This is, oh my God, that was amazing.
In order to ensure that at a moment's notice with whatever target package would be needed in order to ensure that Iran complies.
For the mullahs, this is an opportunity. Show the world that you're not a terrorist. Here's how it all went down. Axios says the gay Ayatollah woke up from his coma, heard about Bridge and Power Plant Day, and told his men to do a deal. Then cardboard Ayatollah got a call from China. Beijing told him to hurry up. Your economy can't last much longer. JD Vance, Witkoff, and Kushner are headed to Pakistan this weekend for the first round of peace talks. And we know who we're dealing with.
We want Iran to not be able to make a nuclear weapon. We want the nuclear fuel, which is something the president...
That's one thing that we can have in common, all right? That even if there's all these differences between the West and the Middle East, we can all agree that the worst thing to have your legacy be is that you're called gay. That we can agree on that.
Has made very clear. And there's, again, the way to think about this is the United States has certain demands and certain things that we want. The Iranians have things they can get out of the negotiation. The more that they're willing to give us, I think the more they're going to get things out of this negotiation. And frankly, the president has all the cards here. We've got a lot of leverage. We got a lot of things that we can do. But right now, I think that we're in a good spot.
no nukes means no uranium. And the Secretary of War says no means no.
It's always been non-negotiable that they won't have nuclear capabilities. And so right now it's buried and we're watching it. We know exactly what they have, and they know that. And they will either give it to us, which the president has laid out. They'll give it to us voluntarily. We'll get it. We'll take it out. Or if we have to do something else ourselves, like we did in Midnight Hammer or something like that, we reserve that opportunity.
The problem for America is, can you trust the Iranians? And if so, which ones can you trust? Because one Iranian told us, sure, here's the yellow cake.
This is on the top of the priority list for the president and his negotiating team as they head into this next round of discussions. And as I said in my opener, that is a red line that the president is not going to back away from. And he's committed to ensuring that takes place. We hope it will be through diplomacy.
Have they given any indication that they would turn it over?
They have.
They have.
Yes.
Well, another Iranian threw us this curveball.
Let me just say this. I actually wonder how good he is at understanding English, because there are things that he said that frankly didn't make sense in the context of the negotiations that we've had. He said, we refuse to give up the right to enrichment. And I thought to myself, you know what? My wife has the right to skydive, but she doesn't jump out of an airplane because she and I have an agreement that she's not going to do that because I don't want my wife jumping out of an airplane.
The Iranians are saying they have the right to enrich the uranium that they can't keep. I hope we have good translators over in Islamabad, because they told us they'd open the strait, and today they only let 4 ships pass. Tomorrow, Iran says they'll let 12. Well, that's not what they agreed to. It's still the first 24 hours of the ceasefire, with their command and control knocked out. Maybe some rogue guards didn't get the memo.
The deal is a ceasefire, a negotiation. That's what we give. And what they give is the straits are going to be reopened. If we don't see that happening, the president is not going to abide by our terms if the Iranians are not abiding by their terms.
So I guess we're going to just allow for a little bit of a grace period. The president says we don't even mind Iran charging tolls as long as we get a 50% cut. He said a joint venture would be a beautiful thing.
I feel like a lot of the stuff that is, I still feel that a lot of this is not going to be followed through from Iran's standpoint. I feel like there's still going to be a lot of problems. And that is my biggest fear, is that I just don't trust these mother effers. I just don't. And I think most people feel the same way. And most people feel that this is not really going to be over anytime soon. And it's not because President Trump doesn't want it to be over. It's because we are now intertwined with people that their entire life is, about being in chaos. So that's just a sad reality. The Glory of Rome is forever says, Epic Mike can't read Rommel tax. Jeremy Wormy says, did you see Piers said that the Iranian state media is more truthful than Trump? Did he? There is no way he said that. Tag me if he's in the video where he said that. Sean Living Life says, for whatever reason, YouTube wouldn't let me send you money. Anyways, I tagged you on X. Representative Salazar and her pushing amnesty. It's a must-see stuff. Okay, I'll check it out. Thank you, brother. TJ says, F YouTube won't let me tell you how I met him in 82. I don't know what you're saying there. How my mom maybe met him in 82, maybe. Print on Corpse says, hamburger helper emoji tax. Meat Bun says, Israel isn't real. Miki Ventura. Heir to the Empire says, wasting away in Cobraville, not a panicking. Wasting super chats in Cobraville. I got to play that song again. Where the hell do I have that song at? Do I have that song? I'll find it for next time. Great Tank says, did you see the guy that posted him roasting a toilet paper warehouse over wages? Insane hell, everybody. I did not see that one. Not see. Twisted Clown says, Jeremy is the smartest former retailer I watch. Not a high bar. Red Walker with those 5 get the memberships. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Rogue Mike says this thousands of years grudge between tribes in the Middle East earns a glassing of everyone because they're annoying. I'm joking, of course. The Royal Wee says, hey, Jeremy, Have you ever heard of the USS Liberty? No, never. First time I've ever heard that. This is the first time you're telling me that. Your mom, Biatch, says, first time I ever typed in Hassan chat was today. Had to shit on him while Fox was doing the same live. Instaban did it for the snake pit. Well, I would never encourage anyone to go to anyone's chat ever, but that is pretty funny. By the way, from what you just reminded me, I think CNN actually said something negative about Hassan Piker. Right here. Right here. Update. CNN is now calling out leftist influencer Hassan Piker after he justified grape when Hamas Islamists do it. Really? Really?
Here's some of what he actually has said about the depravity of the October 7th terror attack, the deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust. Quote, "It doesn't matter if effing rapes happened on October 7th. Like, that doesn't change the dynamic for me. The Palestinian resistance is not perfect." Now, let that sink in. Hassan Piker is excusing sexual violence by Hamas terrorists. He also claims Hamas is, quote, 1,000 times better than Israel. Hamas is a designated terror organization, not just by the U.S., but by the EU, Canada, Australia.
You love to see it. CNN calling out Hassan is amazing.
Australia, New Zealand, just to name a few. And here's what Piker said about the horrors of September 11th, 2001.
Oh.
America deserved 9/11, dude. F it. I'm saying it.
CNN putting Hassan on blast for his anti-American garbage. Are you kidding me right now?
2001.
America deserved 9/11, dude. F it. I'm saying it. Like, we fucking totally brought it on ourselves, dude. Holy shit. We did. We fucking did.
Here's some of what he...
Wow. There you have it. I can't believe that CNN is putting him on blast. What brought this on? Where did this happen? Where did this come from? I mean, again, Hassan is truly the worst. Yes, but Asmongold gets suspended. That's right. But Asmongold gets suspended. Meanwhile, Hassan is still on Twitch every day as their poster child. I mean, I personally think that, you know, I don't know why anybody from Asmongold's perspective would even stream on Twitch. I really don't, because it's just terrible. It's a terrible platform. I hate it. It's one of the few platforms that I do not stream on. Like he did explain. So for those that don't know, Asmon was banned on Twitch, whereas Hassan is still the poster child for Twitch. Here's Asmongold's response to why he was banned. And you're going to like, it's unbelievable why he got banned. It's unbelievable.
Guys, I got suspended on Twitch in the middle of my Crimson Desert playthrough. I don't know what I'm going to be able to do. It's going to be an entire week. I mean, geez, guys, I'm going to have so much free time. Well, I guess I could start by making this video, right? So I got suspended last night on Twitch. I end my stream and I come back from the gas station and I get a message and somebody says, why can't I chat in your stream? And I'm like, well, I don't know what happened. And I look and I get a message and it says that my account has been suspended for 7 days because of hateful conduct. So this is what I did. This is what I said. I said that I didn't give a fuck about the opinions of third worlders. And then particularly in the thing that they referenced, I was referring to illiterate goat herders from Afghanistan.
Again, the way this looks out in the public is not a United States.
The opinions of third worlders don't matter. Like, I don't care what some illiterate goat herder thinks in Afghanistan. It doesn't matter.
It absolutely does not matter. That is 100% accurate. It doesn't matter.
Context of those people believing AI generated videos about Iran winning the war and nuking Israel off the map. Gentlemen, I would like to confirm that I am 100% right and you don't either. And neither do they. Because if Twitch cares about their opinions, why don't they apply Afghanistan's opinions to women on Twitch? That
Asman is cooking right now. Oh, I have not watched all this video.
they apply Afghanistan's opinions to women on Twitch. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? But everybody knows nobody gives a fuck about them. Nobody cares. I'm not sorry. I'm right. I said nothing wrong, and nothing I said was against the terms of service. Beyond that, do you even imagine a world where somebody that says that they don't care about what a fat American thinks about the Middle East, can you imagine that this person ever gets suspended? Of course not.
He has some woke qualities, but he's nowhere near as woke as Francis. Francis was a socialist. This motherfucker is an American. And I think Americans are gross. Americans do not have a understanding of the world. Americifying anything is going to be bad. Americans have a very limited understanding of the universe.
And so why am I getting suspended? It's more third worldist morality logic inversion that basically is being used to silence me for an entire week. That's the important part that I want to talk about here. It's because basically Twitch has a system where they say that your infractions or your bad actions expire within 1 year. Well, the last time I was suspended, well, we all remember the last time I was suspended, but that was in October 2024. I have not been suspended for over an entire year. Why does that matter? Well, it matters because they say it matters. It matters because they say that's whenever the infractions expire and your account is treated as not being in bad standing. So why is it in that case that instead of getting a warning, instead of getting a suspension, instead of getting for a day, instead of getting a suspension for 3 days, I immediately went from that all the way to a 7-day suspension?
So again, I do question, like, why does he even stay on Twitch? But it's good that he uses this as an opportunity to expose them. I know he's on Rumble, he's on Kick, and I know why he doesn't stream on YouTube. Because obviously he uploads to YouTube, but he doesn't stream on YouTube because of the DMCA. And so I totally understand that. But Twitch is a disaster. I would much rather, stream on Kick or Rumble than Twitch.
And immediately, why would this happen? What is the reason for it? I have no idea. Is it because they don't like what I'm saying? It has to be, because it's certainly not because what I'm saying is against the terms of service. I looked at the terms of service. Yes, using nationality is a protected group, but I was not talking about them being disregarded because of nationality. I was talking about them being disregarded because of the fact that they're watching literal AI-generated videos.
Rumble's the future? Maybe. We'll see. But this right here, from Texas, is it Rankin? Is that it? Hail the Rumble chat. Well, are you just wanting me to say hello to the Rumble chat? We have the Rumble chat open, and I see. So hail to the Rumble chat. We got 160 people watching on Rumble right now. So there you have it. And don't forget, you can support us directly through Rumble Wallet. I don't have D-Day Cobra set up through Rumble Wallet. I mean, maybe because I haven't gotten a deal for Rumble Wallet through D-Day Cobra. I don't know. But we do have one for Geeks and Gamers. And you can support us over there if you want. Marmillan, who supports us through Rumble Wallet all the time, says Trump is one of the most straightforward presidents we've had in my lifetime. And yet we have everyone trying to pretend that he is this mysterious, unknown loose cannon that no one knows what he means. Exactly. It's amazing that they continue to do this and they continue to get away with this. It's amazing. Thank you, Marmillan. And John freaking Murdoch for 50 says, hey, Jeremy, you're the only former retail from LA I watch. Hail IDOTS 199 and happy Jessica. Hail to you, brother. Thank you so much. All right, continue on with Asman.
And then believing a false narrative. And the video's context was about, would you rather be having likes on Twitter or having your entire Navy not destroyed?
Do you think that the Iranians would rather have their entire Navy back or their memes?
Geez, guys, I wonder. And so anyway, this is what's happened, is that I have been suspended for an entire week for that. That's it. And I'll play the clip for you guys, okay? And this is, by the way, there's not a 100% certainty with this, that this is the clip, but this is the thing that they quoted from, and it's the thing that they gave me an example of. And I will say also, by the way, my contacts and relationship with Twitch on an interpersonal level has been nothing but tremendous. I have great respect for the people that I've dealt with Twitch. I have no actual animosity towards those people. So just make sure that you guys understand that. Don't shoot the messenger or anything like that. It's the moderation team and the people that decided that I did something wrong. And maybe they made a mistake. Well, I know they made a mistake, but maybe they'll recognize that and I'll get an unban early. And if they didn't, I guess, well, I mean, and here's the annoying thing, right? Is like, well, if Trump nukes Iran, which seems like that's getting more likely every day, then I'm going to have to go live on Kick and Rumble, right? Do I give a fuck about the opinions of a bunch of third worlders in regards to what my country should do? Absolutely fucking not. Yes. I do not. You shouldn't. They shouldn't give a fuck about what I think about their country, because why would I take somebody's opinion that is from a shithole in these countries? And by the way, these are shitholes. Many of these countries are shitholes. And don't let anybody teach you or tell you that, oh, it's America's fault. No, it's not.
It's not.
The ones that America has invaded are shitholes. The ones that America hasn't invaded or Britain hasn't invaded, they're shitholes too. They're shitholes because the people made them shitholes.
And it doesn't matter what America does, which is kind of my problem with the Middle East right now, is that it doesn't matter what we do. Unless we are going to oversee it for the rest of time, it will revert back to what it is, because this is who they are. And that's just the bottom line on it.
And whenever I talk about third worlders and third worldism, I'm not even really talking about a geography. I'm talking about an ideology. And that ideology is the idea that disrespect should be met with violence, the idea that, you know, crime, dysfunction, discord, and chaos in society should be expected. They're part and parcel of living in a modern city. And having people, you know, like, oh, well, you can't say certain things because they might offend people or they'll make them mad. The idea that getting angry about something is a justification to break the law. This is what I'm really talking about with third worldism. Things that.
So there you go with Asmongold. And Waffle Master, thank you for the donation over on Rumble Wallet. I appreciate it, through Geeks and Gamers Rumble Wallet. Hail to you, brother. But yeah, so again, the whole point of that was to kind of talk about how Hassan Piker, who is being reported on by CNN for the horrible things that he has said, he has not been suspended, but Asmongold has been suspended. Absolutely unacceptable on every single level. Disgusting. Fantastic Knox says, given that Blondie got the boot from the AG, will she still go on Fox to talk about her writing stern letters or spill the beans about writing stern letters? Let's hope not. Let's hope we have heard the last of Pam Bondi on Fox News. Little Jim Salo says, Soros, China, EU, Canada, and a ton of others who are sending in money to pay these propagandists. This is an animal trapped in a corner biting anything. Twisted Clown says, I don't want to catch that Pokemon. AIDS. Whiskey Tango says, orange rang tang tax, orange gotten, you got this. Ministry of Wrong Think says, what they gonna do? Call the world police? Killer M something. Can't see what that says. I think Alex Jones playing at bad cop to turn Trump good. I mean, I appreciate the thought and the sentiment behind that. I do not agree at all. Default says Knowles has proven to be the only true MAGA at Daily Wire. Mudkip says Trump, art of the deal versus Beardo farts after meal. Southeastern Kaiju says the art of the deal. Know who else was an artist? OMG, literally hail 199. Let's see here. Pam says, yet another epic Trump win, USA forever. JDT says, goat herders tax. Bungles Twinger says, Jews in space. JDT says, I like Asman. Don't always agree, but he is rich and needs to hire someone to clean his damn house. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But hey, he's an authentic dude, man. Even if I agree with him sometimes, I disagree with him sometimes, but he's an authentic guy. Ministry of Wrong Things says the far right is being tricked into supporting MAGA's heir apparent, the race traitor JD Vance. It's astonishing how gullible they are just because of one issue. Runs with Phantom says the mainstream media exists in a state of perpetual hyperbole. Johnny Winston says, I see every day on Twitter black and white crime, and it makes me sick. I always respond with a gif of Bruce holding a sign saying that from Die Hard, White Lives Matter, bring back. I'm not going to repeat that on YouTube, but thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So next up, and again, I know that the crew is playing Among Us over there on Geeks and Gamers Play. I'm considering running some gaming on D-Day Cobra Gaming tonight. I don't want to be up till 5 o'clock in the fucking morning though. But I'm considering running some gaming over there tonight. We'll see. All right. No promises yet. What is this? Is this new? What is this? Tucker says there are people in the White House who are working really hard, really late, trying to achieve peace with war in Iran. Is this new?
There are people working really hard, really late, trying to fix this, to get a peace, even one that diminishes us, where we have to take some lumps. They are doing that. That's the only reason we got to where we were yesterday. It's because people in the White House, taking no credit for it whatsoever, were working to end this. So there are people working.
What does this even mean? What does this even mean? What is? I don't know if this is an old, when I say old clip, like a few days old, or if this is up to date. Yeah, right here. I like this right here. Megyn Kelly says this. Listen to this right here. Megyn Kelly suggests that Joe Biden and Obama are better than President Trump because, unlike Trump, they were able to see through that liar Netanyahu.
But at 79 years old, to sit in there in that situation room when Bibi Netanyahu was seated as an equal.
Yeah.
Trump didn't even sit at the head of the table. Trump sat at the side of the table and Bibi was across from him as an equal in the American Situation Room. What led him to sit there and buy what that guy was selling hook, line, and sinker when every other president was able to see through that liar? What was it? Because he was told the next day by our own top advisors, from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs to the Secretary of State to the vice president, that these are lies and that these objectives are not going to be attainable. Don't believe him. We might be able to wipe out the Ayatollah, not regime change, Ayatollah. And we might be able to decimate some portion of their missiles and their military. Okay, that's true. But the goals as stated by Trump when we actually did pull the trigger were all over the board. And to this moment, he's pushing the BS claim that we affected regime change. No, we didn't. We
use the right lane to take a slight.
What the hell was that? Is that from the? Were they screen recording while getting directions?
No, we didn't. We
use the right lane to take a slight.
But
they were screen recording while driving. That's crazy. You know what else is crazy? Legalize adulthood for a proper 199 in the House. IDOT Defense Force Unit 199 checking in with more shekels for your Mossad operation. Dave Rubin called. He says that he has rewatched Deliverance and he really loves Trump's book, The Art of the Squeal. Hail the snake pit. Legalized adulthood. Like, legitimately, there are people that are watching this stream right now, they are convinced that you are literally paying me as a Mossad agent. And they think that we play this up as a joke to make them not think that I really am one. And then they say, because that's what a Mossad agent would do. They like, I'm telling you right now, there are people that are straight up. They don't believe that they do not think the joke. They're like, these guys are actually pretending so that they can make us think that he's not, but he's actually is. 20 gifted memberships as well. And do you know what? Do you know what that gets you around these parts? Do you know what it gets you around these parts? A little bit of Sydney Sweeney in the house. Legalized adulthood says, don't tell anyone I'm circumcised. Oh, man. You'll love to see it. Hail to you, legalized adulthood. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it. Great personality. Indeed. Great personality. Good Lord, man. Like, that is she's healthy. She's very healthy. Very, very healthy. Yes, they are, Madney. Yes, they are. Thank you, legalized adulthood. And Mitchell Field says, without Pam, how will we know the status of the Dow? Exactly. Miniature Velthink says, car video. Madney with those boobs are awesome. Yes, I agree. I agree completely. Bobo Yogi says mid. You know what's about to happen when you come in here and say that shit. You know what's about to happen. You know it. Don't you?
I am not gay. I have relationships with women. Sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
Marmillin just dropped $50 worth of Bitcoin over on Rumble Wallet. Hail to you, brother. And we do have the G&G channel is actually live right now, okay? So thank you, Marmillin, for that. G&G channel is live on Rumble. G&G Play over on YouTube. So thank you so much for the support. You and Waffle Master. Is it you, Waffle Master? And there's one other person that sent something through Rumble Wallet a few days ago, I think. I got to find it. Somebody sent like gold over there, which is crazy. I know Waffle Master did, but I thought someone else actually sent something. But either way, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Let me see. You're juggling streams. Okay, I got you. I appreciate it, man. All right, so how do you guys feel about that? Do you want me to do a gaming stream tonight? I just don't want to be up till 3 o'clock in the freaking morning. Because this is like, I've done 4.5 hours of Cobra Cast today. I do have a video for Geeks and Gamers potentially going to come out tomorrow. It's got to be edited. We're going to put some editing on it. Whoa, hold on. Jessica just said I can do a gaming stream. Are you kidding me? What is going on? Jessica just said I can do a gaming stream. She says, please. What? I don't understand. What? I don't have to mod it. Oh. Okay, we see. Okay. I was wondering what was going on there. All right, there we go. I was wondering what her trick was. So that's what it is. That's what it's all about. All right. Well, I really appreciate it. Another one in the books. Thank you guys so much for all the support and everything. Best chat on the internet. And I guess looks like me and the boys are going to be playing some Fortnite and some Rocket League a little bit later. I'm going to send you guys over to G&G Play first, okay? And then the G&G Play stream can go over there. So if you want to support G&G Play, I would appreciate it. They are playing Among Us right now, and a lot of the crew is over there. And then you can join me if you want after that on my D-Day Cobra Gaming channel. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. We will be live again tomorrow, covering all the craziness. You guys have been awesome. The views have been awesome on this channel lately, and I really appreciate the support. And you could be hanging out with anybody, and you decide to hang out with me, and that means the world to me. So thank you, Zwani. Appreciate you. Let's see. We got Mitchell says that you should try Crimson Desert. A friend of mine that made a WWE build. He is always performing wrestling moves. I'm gonna check it out. Probably a lot of people are talking about it. Baba Yogi says 24-hour Cherami stream. Punish Jessica. Damn, that's savage right there. Are you guys go say hello to the G&G Play crew, and then in about an hour, maybe a little over an hour, I'll be live over on D-Day Cobra Gaming. Have a good evening, and we'll talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.